welcome to all of you. This is so exciting to have you all here to Lolly's book launch party for Mysteriously. I am Meg Bond, and yes, for those of you who don't know me, I am related. So Lolly is my sister-in-law, Seth is my brother, my favorite brother, my only brother. Um, and my mom is in the house too. Lois Bond is here as well. So Mysteriously is Lolly's second book after her collection of essays and haiku called The Love Around Us, which came out last year. This new book, Mysteriously, is actually the first in a trilogy of collected haiku. She'll be telling us more about that. So before we jump in, a few housekeeping notes. If you could all please mute yourself, either at the bottom of the screen on the left-hand side or on your photo itself. And please just unmute yourself when you're going to speak or ask a question during our Q&A sections. So just so you know, we are recording this for review afterwards and some sound bites and such. If you do want to ask a question, you can raise your hand either literally or use under the reactions at the bottom of the screen. You'll see a little smiley face that says reactions. You can raise your hand or give a thumbs up or a heart or clap, all those fun things down there that you can use. Also, I believe you've all muted yourselves, so you know how to unmute. Just click the same button. And we're going to be giving some giveaways tonight. So it's a good thing you're here because we have 3 different fun giveaways to give away that you're going to love. If you do win something, you want to be sure to put your snail mail address in the chat box to Seth. And how you can do that is, if you're not familiar, actually, if your screen is on full mode, you might want to take it out of that. And then when you click the chat button at the bottom of the screen, the chat will show up on the side of your screen. If you haven't done this before, maybe after 2 years of Zoom, hopefully you have, but if anybody hasn't, I'll let you know. So when the chat shows up on the right-hand side, you'll see a little blue box at the bottom that has everybody's name in it. It says everyone in meeting, but if you click on that little arrow, it will scroll, you can scroll down through all the names. You can send a private message to someone by clicking on their name in the chat, and you will see Seth Bond as co-host listed there. And to send Seth a snail mail address or any information, just click on him and send him a direct message, and that way everybody doesn't see it, just Seth. So thanks for listening to the housekeeping overview there. So what you should expect this evening is some laughs and some fun. And Lolly, of course, is going to talk about Mysteriously haiku and her writing process. She's going to do some readings. We'll have time for some Q&A. And of course, the giveaways and a little wrap up at the end. So with all of that, thank you again so much for joining us tonight. And I will hand it over to my favorite sister-in-law in the whole world, Lolly.
First and foremost, I just want to say thank you so much to all of you. There are a lot of you that I was not expecting to see tonight on the call, and that makes me want to cry. So thank you. I will not say more than that. Let's see, where do I want to start? So Mysteriously, it is the first in what will be a trilogy. I originally had started it as a single volume of poems, and the title was going to be an entire haiku. And then there would be sections within the book, and it just started to feel really crowded. And each section was very different. So now there will be 3 books, each of which has a line from the singular haiku as its title. So this first volume is Mysteriously, and the whole haiku is, mysteriously, watercolored rendered words leave us in the now. So that second volume will be out, and it will be watercolored rendered words, and the third one is leave us in the now. And this first one is I like to say that they're all really each of these haiku is really self-contained, and it's like a seed pod that's just waiting for the reader's attention. And it's really different from the next one, which is much more atmospheric and it talks more about place and that kind of thing. And then the last one is really about the present moment and how we experience that, whether that's like time or the people we're with. So I think now is maybe I'll just open it up at random and see what we have. To experience the ache of fragility, a delicate strength. That was an interesting one when I wrote it. And I posted a picture actually with it, and it was just a singular wing of a butterfly. And I was just in a really interesting place in my own life and feeling like there's a strength to it, like the butterfly's wing that I was seeing. Anyway, does anybody have any questions? Because I don't want this to just be about me talking.
Yes, feel free to raise your hand literally or figuratively with the reactions in the bottom.
Lois has her hand up.
You have to unmute yourself first.
Yeah, press the space. There you go.
I'm curious as to what inspired you to begin writing haiku poetry.
Oh, good question. Well, in 2007, so like 14 or 15 years ago, I was working at a job at a really creative place, but I was in like the least creative position possible. I was working as a librarian and archivist, and what else was I had like 3 titles, executive aide. And I was looking for a way, I was reading a book at the time, but I was looking for a way to bring more creativity into my work day. And so I started sending out a haiku with my weekly timesheet, which was due on Thursdays. And when I lost my job in 2008 during the recession, I took the practice with me, and I was in a writer's group with Marcia, who's here tonight. And my list just kind of grew from there. So it's a good practice for me to distill my thoughts, and it's just something that I really like trying to do. Some weeks are better than others. Frank?
Yeah, I was just wondering, how many haiku did you have to choose from and selecting them for this and for the other volume?
I had over 600 to go through. So I actually started compiling them right after The Love Around Us came out, and I thought I'd do something with it right away, and then I didn't. So I picked it back up again sometime in the fall. And yeah, I just went through them yearly. Some were really easy to cut because they were really bad. and then there were some that I just liked, and eventually they made their way into 3 separate volumes because they're all kind of different. So. And I can't see everybody, so.
Oh,
I've raised my hand.
Oh, okay, you go, Burl.
Burl.
Yeah.
So do you write one a week, or do you write sometimes a bunch?
Oh, I wish. Yeah,
save them?
and save them. I actually do have a slush pile. My slush pile is empty at the moment, but I do keep I do keep them on hand for weeks when I am really tired, or it's a really bad week and I can't think of anything remotely nice to say that isn't like angry, 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 angry. So, and let's see, what was your other question? Do I have? Sometimes I do write more than one, but a lot of the time it's like it's almost like a cycle, and maybe that's because I've been doing it so long. It'll start coming to me almost as soon as like the last one is out, the next one starts coming. And sometimes it's just like a singular word that comes to me. Like the title of the book, actually, mysteriously, is the word that came to me. And I'm always like, yeah, I love me a 5-syllable word. They're just so hard to come by, nice meaty ones like that.
Laura, this is Cindy.
Hi.
So I know this is about your current book, but do you mind telling me a little bit about, you already published one book. Is that a haiku also? And how long has that been out? And do you mind talking a little bit about that one?
Yeah, not at all. Thank you for asking that. This has been out almost a year now, and it's The Love Around Us.
Show it.
So it does have haiku in it, but it's a little bit like often, like some people think that I write an essay and then the haiku comes out of it, but really what it is that I'll write a haiku, and sometimes they just it's like they come back to me and they grab me by the front of the shirt and they're like, psst, I got a story for you, you know? And so I feel like I have to give them some space to tell the story. So that's what these are. A lot of them are life stories, you know, vignettes from my life, and some of them are just like random creative writing, either about writing itself or creativity or imagination. So it's a really eclectic collection. I don't know if anybody else wants to speak to what it says to them. That's great. But mostly,
You self-published? You self-published it? Is that what you did?
I did. Yes, I
Okay.
did self-publish.
It's on Amazon. I assume I can find it on Amazon.
Yes.
Like everything
Yeah.
else. Okay,
Phyllis.
thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
Am I okay? Am I unmuted now? Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Laura and I know each other from grad school like a zillion years ago, right? In DC.
Yeah.
And more recently reconnected. But anyway, that's a little history. But I love the first book, and I read it every night. You know, a couple of the essays, maybe 3-4 of them, and I am just so touched by your honesty in what you write. And sometimes it's not easy, and it's deep stuff. Some of it's really deep stuff, intense stuff. And, you know, more power to you. So it's really touching me. So I just wanted to say thank you. Thanks, Laura.
Thank you, Phyllis. Thank you very much. I'm so glad we reconnected.
Oh, me too. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll see you soon somewhere, I'm sure. Who knows where, right?
Yeah.
All right, take care. I'm still here.
Beth, did you have a question? Sorry. Unmute.
Linda and I both have a comment.
Oh,
And Tracy, I can't find you right now. You're somewhere there. Your photos, there you are, Tracy.
oh
Your
yeah.
photos that were paired with Laura's haiku were amazing. Somewhere down the road, y'all need to get together. That's all. Linda says yes too, and so does Keith.
Yeah, I would like to speak to that. Tracy contacted me, I think it was either the very last day in October or maybe on the first day of November, and said, hey, would you want to collaborate with me? And she was doing this amazing challenge for herself. And Tracy, do you want to say something?
Do you want me to?
Yeah,
Yes.
She did this amazing series, and
Sorry,
what
I'm
was your
in the kitchen now.
inspiration for it? Oh, that's okay.
Gotta start making dinner. I've got bad lighting. The inspiration was kind of crazy. plans that I had fell through, and I went on a spontaneous, very cold weather hike and just got super inspired by everything that I was seeing around me, and just started thinking about, it was November, and lots of people do their like gratitude thing in November. And I thought, well, nature is one of the most inspiring things to me. So I just on a whim decided to do this daily picture looking closely at nature and all the beautiful things that are still in existence when all the traditional things that people look at, the flowers and the blooming trees and all that go away. So seed pods and mosses and all that stuff. And it was turned into this close look at nature. And I think it was the second day of November, I contacted Laura. I had some time to think, and I thought, wow, maybe Laura would be gracious enough to like write a haiku once a week for me that would like speak to one of my pictures. And she jumped on board, and I was super honored to have her talent matched up with my pictures. So that's it. So you can see the stuff on Laura's page. My Instagram is private, but Laura's is open, so you can go back and look at that if you're interested. And Beth, thank you for the compliments. I'm very flattered.
Yeah, and I just want to add to that Tracy, we're all talking about like my social media page, so Instagram, and I think that I would send out some of the pictures on the Haiku Thursday list, but not all of them. I see that Lara Siri has joined us, and she has her hand up.
Hi, Lara. Hi, everybody. Just a little background. Lara and Seth and I have been friends since grade school, and I'm just immensely, immensely proud of the second of the trilogy, and got my copy just yesterday. So excited. So in spending some time with this and knowing you like I do, like one of these really jumped out to me today. And do you mind if I read it and then ask a question? Because they kind of go together. So I love this. It really speaks to me right now. It is. The swirling future is fully formed in the now. Be still and listen. And my question for you is this something that you feel like you need to try hard to do every day to really live in the moment? Or with your past history, was there a certain time in your life where you just went, wow, I'm just all over the place, I need to focus? Or, wow, it's time for me to become more Zen. Like, because I feel like this is kind of the secret of life, and it's something that I personally have been trying to focus in on, which is hard for a spaz like myself. And I feel like it's so inspiring. And I just want to hear you talk about kind of how you came to this moment and how often you feel like you live in a moment like the one you just shared with us.
Wow, that is a good question, and it's a tough one. But I can say that kind of speaking to the writing and where my ideas come from, I have a spiritual practice, and every day I sit down and I do a contemplation. And so a lot of the time, not always, but probably anywhere between 80 and 90% of the time, my work comes out of my contemplation time. So I'm really, people who know me know I'm really regimented with the way every morning it's very ritualistic for me. I sit down, I have my coffee, I have my pen, I have my paper, and I write. The first things I write are like my dreams, and then I might write like just like a brain dump, just to get the kind of crap out of the way. And then I'll go into my contemplation and my spiritual practice. And so that's usually where these come from. That really early on. I don't remember the date of it, but it was probably one of my earlier haiku. And it is something that I try really hard to practice, and it's a practice for sure. I definitely do not have it down pat. There are some days when I feel like I am very in the moment. But yes, that one was written as a reminder to myself to be still and listen. And now it's time for a giveaway.
I
I don't
was
know if
just
somebody
gonna
has their
say.
hand up, but I was like, we need to do a
Yes.
giveaway.
Let's do a giveaway. So should we
All right.
explain how
Yeah.
this works?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think when everybody came in, everybody was sort of assigned a random number. So I now have numbers in a hat here, and I'm just going to pull one out, and Seth will know who it is. All right, so I pulled number 22, Seth.
I hope it's a hug.
Donna Pace.
Donna Pace. Where is Donna Pace?
Oh, yay! All right, you're lucky. Oh, I forgot to say what you're winning. Oh, sorry. You just won a set of seasonal Haiku Thursday cards.
Oh, nice.
So,
Thank you.
thank you. I'm super excited that you're here. I feel like I should tell people the backstory of who you are, but I won't. We'll just let it be a wonderful mystery.
So I met her on Skid Row.
Okay, Anne, I
Very
see you have
excited
your
to be
hand
here
up.
too.
Oh, Lolly.
Sorry. What?
Lolly, why don't you tell them about the cards? Because are the cards something that people can?
Oh, yeah, I wish I could say that we had success in our card business, but we did not. So we now have a lot of wonderful haiku cards, and it was an endeavor that my husband and I worked on together. It was great fun, but it turns out that neither one of us is really a salesperson, so it made it hard to sell cards. Anyway, Anne, I see you have your hand up.
Yeah, I wonder if you could talk with us a little more technically. Haiku is a famously formal art form and spare. And what is it like to work in that space?
It is very spare, and as I say on the back of the book, actually, it's like with only 3 lines, haiku is deceptively simple. And I think haiku is kind of like cartoons, where it can be written so that it appeals on multiple levels. And I'd like to say that I definitely don't achieve that all the time. It can be just completely silly and about sushi, or about something like trying to really step into a moment and be still and listen. I'm trying to remember the rest of your question because I'm not sure I'm answering it.
You're getting there. I wonder what causes something to land on the cutting room floor? What's the difference between a haiku that works and one that doesn't?
Oh, I don't know if I'm qualified to say. I know what I don't like or what doesn't work for me. Some things just feel really awkward. You'd think after 14 years of writing, I'd know it, but I think that's part of, I think that's just part of a writing practice, is that I don't know that you ever know, or maybe some people do, and I'm just not that person. But a lot of the time it'll be syllable count that gets cut, or it just feels clunky. What did you say, Seth?
Sometimes they're just not timely.
Yeah, sometimes they're just not timely. Like I did write one that was for this week, but it just wasn't the right haiku for this week. It'll come out next week. You can all read it then, because it had a different feel. And this week was supposed to be about something wonderful, like putting out a book. So it's not totally on the cutting room floor.
I think that's really, to me, I can connect that to Lara's idea about being in the moment. And that's really new information for me, to connect it to the weekly practice and timeliness. I had never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's, well, for me anyway, but yeah.
Would you like to read another one, Lolly?
Sure, I'll do another random opening here. Ah, here we go. Why keep doubts at bay? Invite them in for some tea. Show them the closet.
I like it. Speaking of tea, also, well, unless you have a story to tell about that, we forgot to talk about the beverage.
Oh, that's right, the beverage. Somebody had asked me, I can't remember now who asked me about the first book. So tonight's beverage, if you saw there was a recipe for a cocktail and a mocktail, and it came out of this chapter called Absolute Detachment, where I was talking about just blindly trying to take a picture of something that I saw that I thought was beautiful, even though I couldn't really fully see it. And so then I came up with this sort of recipe for absolute detachment, and that is 1 part buoyant hopefulness, use fully open heart brand, 1 part utter, this probably won't work. Don't confuse this with total pessimism. It's similar, but not the same. As you might guess, total pessimism is more bitter. And 1 dash, I gotta try. So yeah, that's how we came up with the cocktail mocktail recipe for tonight. So we had to start with something, buoyant, so effervescent, so Prosecco, obviously, delicious, and or seltzer water. And then my sister's got her beautiful cups out.
Very expensive gold rimmed cups because
I know, they're beautiful.
Celebration.
And 1 part utter, this probably won't work because it sounds like limoncello won't work with Prosecco, but it does, trust me. And in the mocktail, we had a tea, which sounds kind of weird with seltzer, but personally, I think it works. And then 1 dash, I gotta try. In the mocktail, it's a citrus note, and again, it's like the Saint Germain is an elderberry flower, and elderflower? Elderflower? I don't know. Anyway, so that's where it came from. And I'm going to throw it to Julie because I see she has her hand up.
I do have my hand up, but there's a person who wants to ask you a question. This is my husband, Mike, who's been sitting off on the side listening and laughing and
lurking
conversation and work. Well, yeah. Anyway, he has a question for Laura.
Kind of crazy timing. Hey, Laura.
Hi.
How would you compare working with words to working with marble?
Oh. Dang. It's kind of similar, actually, because it is reductive. Like a lot of the time I'll be in contemplation or working with something that's going on for me, and I'll have like a block of words, right, that come out, and there might be 1 phrase or 1 word that stands out to me, and a lot of the time it's either 5 syllables or 7 syllables already. And it's like, so it is a little bit like working with stone. And some people, when they work with stone, have like a really clear idea of what they want it to be already. And I don't approach stone sculpting that way at all. To me, it's much more of a conversation. So yeah, they're actually really similar, Mike. Good call. Because it's the same thing when I've just like done like a word dump or whatever. I'm looking at that solid block of words, and then I start sort of chipping it away and trying and carve out a haiku. So it's kind of similar. Wow. Who knew? But maybe that's why I like stone sculpting. Susie?
Hello.
Hello.
That last haiku really made me giggle.
That was very funny. And then the first haiku was very introspective and very quiet. So I'm curious to know, in Mysteriously, what is the theme that runs through Mysteriously as a collection for you? Because now we've seen in these two different poems, your humor comes out, your sensitivity comes out. So how would you describe that in your own words? Haha.
Now I feel like I'm in grade school again. In your own words, I know. This is hard for me because there's something, and that's part of why I like the title Mysteriously, because there's something about a lot of these that, like I said it before, they feel like kernels or like nuggets, or they're not like some of the other haiku that are in other volumes that are more about describing a scene, or like mountains or flowers or whatever. These are more about in landscape, and sometimes those are funny. I mean, I often trip over my own inner rock, so is it time for our second giveaway?
I think it might be. Drum roll.
Drum roll. Okay, so I should probably say it before it. So the second one is, oh, I forgot. Meg, what's the second one? I forgot to write it down.
The second giveaway is a signed copy of Mysteriously.
Oh, there we go. That's right. Thanks. Totally spaced it out. All right. Lucky number 8. Seth. Cindy Ringer, you just won a signed copy.
Hey, awesome. Thank you.
No, thank you.
And quick question you mentioned having cards in, I do scrapbooking, so I make cards, but can I buy them from you? Do you have them on your site or somewhere?
I should do something with them.
They're really great cards, you guys. She really does need to. I love them. Anyway,
where can I can you email me the link or something, or put it out here in the chat?
I can't. You know what? Maybe I'll get them up on our website. Hi, Kitty. Want to come up?
They're not currently up.
They're not currently for sale, but
oh, okay.
But special for you, I'll throw in some cards for you as well.
Ooh, thank you.
You're
That'd
welcome.
Be awesome.
I bet even though your marketing didn't go well previously, you probably could sell some to this crowd.
Yeah. True enough. I gave some to Burl recently.
There you go.
Yeah.
How about
They are cool.
I would like some Rochester cards.
Hi, Mom. That's me. That's not Lara. So you're just going to have to, you'll have to pay me instead.
I can do that. If you would give me some Rochester, if I may buy some Rochester, Vermont cards from you, that would be lovely.
What she doesn't know is there's an entire hard drive full of those files sitting in her desk drawer.
If she only knew.
But I don't have a printer. Oh dear.
We'll figure it out, Mom.
We'll have to talk. Bye.
How about another reading?
Oh, sure. Here, let's see, one more random. Gathering loose ends, old golden threads rewoven into something new. That was definitely one of those times when something in my world was changing, and ooh, hold on, I just don't want the cat to knock the drink over. Yeah, letting go of old things and bringing in new things is often a theme for me. Kind of goes hand in hand with contemplation, I guess. example. My husband chilling at me. I'm trying to think exactly what was going on at the time that I wrote that one. A lot of the time it's about letting go of expectations of what I think I want things to be and allowing them to reform into something new. And it's while I'm letting go of things, I'm also sort of repurposing. So that's why it's old golden threads woven into something new.
Any comments, questions, input? Anybody want to tell us? Is anybody trying the cocktail or the mocktail? Want to share your input? How is that, Beth? I can see Beth.
Honestly, I don't like limoncello, and I decided that I would take mine without the limoncello. Thank you very much.
Has anyone found themselves inspired to write haiku because of the Haiku Thursday list they're on?
Oh, Burl.
Yes, definitely. When I was starting to read Lolly's haiku, I began to write more haiku myself and inspired by it. So I had a question for you also. I was looking at because I received my copy as well. And I know a little bit, but I'd love to hear you talk about placement. So as an example, the inertia is an overburdened wheelbarrow with a lousy tire, is followed by curiously blank, exhilaratingly fresh, no preconceptions. So I pulled those two out randomly, and I'm putting you on the spot, I know, but what was the thought process in deciding where a haiku would end up?
Some of them, I just felt like I liked them together, kind of back to back. Yeah, they just, I liked the order. Inertia is an overburdened wheelbarrow, yeah, with a lousy tire. They kind of go together because it's like one is about trying to get going again, and one is at the beginning, you know, curiously blank, exhilaratingly fresh, no preconceptions. Like, that's a good place to start after you've been stuck with inertia. And these are definitely they're not in order, yeah, by year. There are a lot that are from 2021, but then there are plenty from really early on as well. So they had a flow to me that, yeah, just a flow.
And they do flow. They really flow nicely. I just wanted to hear you talk about it. So thank you.
Thanks for asking.
So Lolly, JJ had a question in the chat. What is the longest that you have sat on one line of a haiku waiting for the rest of it?
Oh. 6 years. Where did you come up with 6 years?
Seth's yelling from the other room.
I know, that's Seth yelling from the other room. I'm like, 6 years? That's a really good question. I'm trying to think. I definitely know that I have.
You could totally make up a date like that. Like, it's actually 7 years and 15 days. And here's why. And we would all just go.
Weeks for sure. Actually, I have one that I started months and months ago that was about self-confidence. And now I don't remember what the line was, but I was so taken with it. And at the time, I was really struggling with self-confidence, which I pretty much have my whole life. And so one of these days, maybe you'll see it. I don't know. It may come out. So I've been hatching that one for months. Still waiting on it.
So another question in the chat from Lois. What inspired the cover? Tell us about the cover of Mysteriously.
Well, somebody at work asked me what it was, and then I felt really bad because I thought, oh, I guess that's not very obvious. I mean, it's obvious to me because I painted it. So it's, I took a watercolor class in my 20s some point, and oh, Seth's coming in with the visual aid here. So here's what the full painting looks like. Ooh, I don't know if you can kind of make it out. In any case, I think it was a study in learning how to make brown, which sounds really disgusting and is probably a haiku all of its own, that I have not yet written. Perhaps somebody will be inspired to write it. So that's what this is it's a painting that I did in my 20s, and I always really liked it, but I didn't ever frame it until kind of recently. And then with the title, Watercolor Words, I used it as one of my social media posts, even though I painted it years ago and I wrote the haiku last year. Sorry, froggy throat.
Laura, it's the same thing that you said, it's going to be a third, right? Each book has a third of the painting. Is that right? Or is it just the haiku is a third?
It'll kind of, yeah, the haiku. It will. Actually, the next two are going to have this same cover, but the bottom will be different. Obviously, it'll have a different, so we have a different banded color here, and then the title will be different. But when they line up on the shelf, the picture should be more complete along the three spines, so that it'll be a little bit wider picture. So it's getting kind of moved around the cover. Nice question. Thanks, Lois. Oh, Jimmy's here. Well, we can't see him. My brother's here. Very exciting.
Hi,
He's
Jim.
in the house. Are there more chat questions that I haven't seen?
I was just going to say, if people aren't comfortable with actually speaking, you can just write your question in the chat, and I'm keeping an eye on that.
Okay, good. Because
Too.
I am not. Well,
I think my internet's a little shaky here, so if I don't hear something, then my apologies.
Right.
Any other questions? Any other input, feedback? Did anybody ask how many people here have actually tried to write haiku or have written haiku themselves? I know we said something about that, but how many of you have actually written
Hello.
haiku? Oh,
Hey.
there's Jimmy.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can.
Oh shit, yeah, I just figured out how to use this stupid phone.
Welcome.
Hi.
Hopefully you've been able to hear some of it anyway.
Yeah, I've been
hilarious.
here for a little while. I just didn't know how to connect.
Well, I'm super glad you're here. Oh, Sharon said she had a haiku that she wrote in high school. Wait, let me. You don't have any of them now. Yeah. Well, you know what?
Oh shit. No.
I was going to say that the reason why I launched this month is that this month, February, the shortest month, is NaHaiWriMo, which is National Haiku Writing Month. So I would definitely encourage you all to try your hand at writing haiku. There are actually lots of probably competitions around the country. And I know there's one here in Phoenix for the local NPR station, KJZZ runs one. And there's a website for NaHaiWriMo, and they do daily writing prompts. So if you don't, if you can't think of something to write about, which I know some people are daunted by the vastness of the idea of writing a poem, So here's a short piece from 2014. Oh, nice. Will you read that?
Slow learner revised, picking through the tin knit of brutal life after it succumbed. Frayed wiring, small fires, a search for circuits through which words can weave new meanings. Like slow learner, who better to find our way through now?
Wow. That is beautiful. Wait, come back on, Anne. Sorry.
Your threads, your golden threads immediately made me think of that.
Yeah. So was that experiential? Were you going through some wiring fire problems at the time?
Yeah, I was unwiring parts of myself that didn't serve anymore, but then figuring out how to wire things back together and trying to appreciate feeling dumb, feeling slow, and how that phrase slow learner used to be pejorative. But, boy, I think most of my learning is pretty slow now.
I would agree with that. I'm the same way. I feel like it takes me a long time to process things and really grasp them. And then they often come back around so I can learn them a little bit better again.
Teresa said that your first book inspired her to write.
Oh, thank you. You know what? That is like when I was listening to a podcast and the host asked a question of a writer, and the question was, what's your favorite part about writing? And he gave his answer, which was, a fine answer, obviously it was his answer. And I turned to Seth at the time and I said, my favorite thing is when people reach out to me and say either that I've inspired them to start writing haiku themselves, or they don't even bother to say that and they just write back with a haiku. So in that way, the Haiku Thursday list starts to feel like it's like these lovely little postcards that get sent back and forth on a weekly basis. And so a huge thank you to all of you who do that from time to time, who will reach out and share another haiku, because to me, that's like the marrow of life. That I know times that I've been inspired by other people, and to think that something I do could do that for someone else is incredibly humbling to me.
I don't think everybody here knows about your Haiku Thursday list that they can get on if they're not on it already.
Right. Yeah. So, like I said, I had been writing them for a long time, and it's just something I do. So they get sent out via email, and yeah, if you would like to be on the list, you can go to my website and sign up there, or I don't know, stay online and let us know. But if you're not already signed up,
Send a private message to Seth.
Yes, a private message to Seth, and we'll add you to the list.
And Seth also did put a link in the chat. It's a little farther back in the chat if you look, to the Amazon, where you can buy Mysteriously.
Okay, so I think, how about
the third one? Do you
the
remember?
third one? And this is the big one. So in addition to getting a signed copy of Mysteriously, you're going to get the ARCs for the next two, and those are advanced reader copies. So it's like this. It has like a band on it that says not for resale. Depending on what's happening, you might get it without the blurb on the back if we haven't written it yet, like we hadn't for this one. It may come, probably will come with all kinds of bloopers in it. But by and large, it'll look like a book, it'll smell like a book, it'll generally read like a book. So that's what this one is for. So you'll get those two advanced reading copies of the next one, and then. So here we go. Who is the lucky winner? That is number 15. Rick Allen. Woohoo!
So all the three of you, congratulations, who won. Remember to go into the chat and click on the little caret there and scroll down till you find Seth Bond and send Seth privately your snail mail address. Yay!
Yay, and thank you so much, all of you, for coming tonight. It was really, really sweet of you. Thank you.
And they can go on Amazon now to order Mysteriously, right?
Yes.
Does
It
Seth
is
have a link
up
for
and running.
that? Or no, that was the link to Mysteriously.
Copies on Monday. And Daddy had no idea what it was. He was very concerned.
I guess Seth Seth, can you repost the Mysteriously link so it's farther down? And is there a separate link? If you have a separate link for the Love Around Us, that would be great too. Oh, and Tracy is asking, how do we get signed copies?
That
Is
is
that
an
possible?
excellent question. That is, you can just message me and let me know if that's what you would like, and I can easily send it to you and we can arrange for that. Although there might be a little delay on that because my copies get delayed. They are not to me yet, but hopefully in the next week or so.
Also, I missed, Tracy wrote something when we were asking who's written haiku, and she said, I wrote one today as part of the February challenge Lolly issued today in Haiku Thursday.
Oh, yay. How did I miss this? Did you share what it is? You're like, no. Okay. Yeah, and disclaimer for the list, they just go out. It's like sometimes they're good and sometimes they're just not that good. So that's what the collection of haiku is for, so that you can get like the greatest hits.
She said it's silly. It's silly what she wrote to me. And actually, we didn't even talk about this. One person, Sharon, was asking, what are the rules of haiku? Just the 3 lines, or are there other rules? So there might be other people who actually don't know the structure of haiku.
Right, and I see somebody else had put in that it's 575. So it is based on syllable count, at least in the English language. And I recently have learned that 575 is the old-fashioned way of doing it. So I still write in the old-fashioned way because that's kind of my natural cadence. And I firmly believe that everybody has their own cadence to their thoughts and their words that come to them. And so if you're still syllable counting, 353 is also an acceptable format. And I have tried to do that, but I'm not good at it. And that said, lately, I have been collecting really short, what I consider to be haiku, even though they're not remotely in that syllable count format. So like last year, I did an interview on a podcast, and I said something about them being like jump, dive, emerge. And I feel like, he said, I feel like that's a haiku. And I said, yeah, so do I. So I've been playing around with like super short, how few can I do it and still create something that might have meaning. So 353 is the new fangled haiku. Yeah, sorta. I mean, there's a lot of discussion around it. And I'll be honest, I don't come at writing, and especially not at haiku, from an academic or a studied format. I use it as language scaffolding. Like I go, okay, 575, what can I do with that? And I'm a firm believer that to be creative, you need to have some kind of structure through which something can flow. And for me, that's my writing challenge that I set for myself every week is what can I get out in this structure? But like I said, I'm also playing with like I've merged, so I don't know, like create a whole workshop around that concept. So
Yes. Talk about your workshop, potential workshop.
oh right, yeah. So let's see, April is National Poetry Month, and the 17th is Easter, but it's also Haiku Day because it's the 17th and there's 17 syllables. So see, some people are still going by the 575. But anyway, we were thinking about doing a haiku writing workshop that would be online, but sometime in the month of April. So if that sounds of interest to you, let us know. And I'll see if I can't make it happen. Right. Anne raised her hand. Okay. Thanks, Meg. I forgot about that. All right. Well, thank you all.
Thank you, Lolly.
Yay, thank you.
It was really a huge treat to see all of you. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad you invited.
Thank you, Lolly.
Thank you, Lara. That was so wonderful.
Yes,
Thank you. It was very interesting. Enjoyed ourselves.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, honey.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks.
Great to see you all.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Look forward to reading it.